Alright, alright. What's really going on? Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. Today, going to be taking a look at Cardano, 88 against USDT. Going to be taking a look at some of these key technical aspects of price action moving forward. Going to be assessing some of the pivotal areas of support and resistance I believe we're going to be interacting with in the very near future here. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? Do you trade? Do you hold? Or do you let the price action unfold? What are you doing with your Cardano? If you have one, are we bullish? Do we think we've found support? We're about to rally up to the kind of multi-dollar range that we came from not too long ago, or are we still bearish? Support is yet to be found, and we have some more downside ahead of us. Let me know your thoughts on price action down in the comment section down below. Now, jumping right into it, to kind of recap price action that has interacted with this ascending trend line since pretty much the sort of COVID crash there in March of 2020. We have price action interacting both above and below this ascending kind of trend line, respecting it as both support and resistance. We had interaction with this trend line for a period of weeks as price action came up to interact with this ascending trend line as resistance at the kind of 6th of January all the way until the 3rd of February before we were finally able to break it. We had kind of two rejections from that level, consolidated downward, printing some like higher lows, and we eventually were bullish enough to break that resistance. Since breaking that resistance, we've interacted with these kind of new levels up here. Price action has been very bullish lately. There's been a lot of fundamental buy pressure keeping Cardano at this range, but what has caused this sideways is a very high amount of sell pressure present in Cardano prior to this kind of most recent, sort of crash, if you will, in the crypto market. This kind of pullback. Cardano does seem to be surviving this very aggressive sell pressure, this very aggressive downside, this very thick sideways is very bullish long term. I do believe, in my opinion, the longer we can hold this level, I do believe the more bullish we can be. Any long term and the more upward, I believe we can expect. I do believe price action is currently interacting with resistance found at the kind of bottom of my upper range here at $1.38. I do believe if that is confirmed as resistance, price action could very well make its way back down to this $1.08. To confirm that as support, daily candles closing above that $1 kind of 8-cent range can be more short-term bullish. I do believe price action, even if finding support at that level, we might get rejected from $1.38. Again, I do believe this seems to be a range that we did have price action trading in between since the kind of like 27th of February, almost the 20th of February, until this 5th of May when we broke upward into that multi-dollar range that we had that kind of swing high at the 16th of May up at kind of like $1.46. And ever since then, price action has been kind of like selling off very aggressively, but these sell-offs aren't lasting as they're being bought up very quick. Bounces off of this lower zone of support, this $1.08 all the way down to 94 cents is going to be a very key range of support that I do believe we are going to have to hold in the short term to maintain kind of bullish in the midterm. Like if we do start to fail, if we fail to hold kind of $1.08, I believe the sub $1 range at 94 cents would be our next target. And if we fail to hold kind of that level, we do have some kind of more bearish targets down below. Although the kind of fundamental bullishness of Cardano is very high at the moment, and I do believe there's a lot of demand for Cardano at these levels, even while all this sell pressure is present. When we consider EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibonacci, Fibba Zucchini, Fibba Illuminati, Fettuccine lines of sacred geometry, we can see a new perspective come into play here between my kind of zones of $1.08 up to $1.38. We have that 0.5 Fibonacci line at $1.24. Price action, I do believe, has the potential to kind of hold at this level. We might have a few days kind of bouncing between kind of the 0.5 line at $1.24 up to that $1.38 resistance, but I suspect price action will likely break that 0.5 line and interact with my $1.08 level. We do have the 0.382 at 95 cents, just above my 94-cent support line. That has also seemed to be correlating with the 200 daily moving average, which at this point in time is currently at $1. So $1 is going to be a nice psychological round level. I believe we're going to have to hold. Price action could be very much bearish enough to get rejected off of the $1.38 level, fall through the $1.24 to perhaps interact with this 200 daily moving average. Price action being above that moving average is going to be quite bullish long term, suggesting we are still in an uptrend. Price action coming down to interact with this trend line is going to be very pivotal for the direction of the trend in the short term, I do believe. Price action failing to hold that 200 daily moving average could suggest some midterm kind of downside or some prolonged downside as lower levels present themselves. Although with the fundamental buy pressure of Cardano right now, I do believe some more upside is ahead of us upon kind of support found here. And I do believe we're nearing the end of this very potent phase of consolidation, which appears to be above 95 cents and under that kind of swing high of $2.42. But the range we have primarily been trapped in, I believe, is going to be that between the 0.382 Fibonacci line at 95 cents all the way up to the 0.618 Fibonacci line at $1.53. We could very much see price action bouncing between this very aggressive range for a period of time, interacting with that 0.5 line, $1.24 along the way. And so I do believe once support is found, perhaps above $1, we could be more bullish. Once support is found, though, I do believe potent resistance will be present at that $1.38 level, and upon breaking that range and confirming it as support, I believe we can interact with this kind of multi-dollar sort of swing high that we came from not too long ago. Now, when we consider Cardano against Bitcoin, we can see a new perspective come into play here. When we consider this potent range of consolidation, lower high resistance found at a lower high here relative to that swing high, the 16th of May. That swing high came up to kind of like 50.15 Satoshi, and then the dip that we came out of brought us to a lower high, potent resistance found at 47.27, and so price action was rejected. We do appear to have attempted to hold potential support found what appears to be near that kind of 38.46 level. We broke down, but we were quickly bought back up again, and so perhaps price action closing above that kind of like 38.33 level, we could be kind of more short-term bullish. But although I do suspect continuation downward and interaction with my 30.98 Satoshi level, I believe is more likely. Now, when we consider EngineeringRobo, along with the Fibazzucchini lines of Illuminati, Fettuccine, Martinis, and Bikini lines, we can see a new perspective come into play here. The 0.786 Fibonacci line suggesting some resistance at that range there. And so I do believe a rejection off of that level will likely bring us down to that 0.618 Fibonacci line at 32.72 Satoshi above my support level there. So we can be more bullish in the short term, I do believe, if we can find support. That 0.618 line, 32.78 Satoshi will be a more bullish level. Potent resistance at that 0.786 line, like I suggested, that 40.55 Satoshi level is going to be a bit of a hassle to kind of break. I do believe we're going to have to break upward and confirm it back downward as support before we can interact with potential resistance at what appears to be 47.33 Satoshi before the kind of top of the Fibonacci range. So we do have the sell for against the price of Bitcoin. Price action still well above the 200 daily moving average. If we do stay bearish enough to be stuck perhaps sideways enough, and say we fail to hold the 0.618, we fail to hold my support at 30.92, and we even fail to hold this potential, kind of like most bearish support level at 27.28 Satoshi, interaction with this 200 daily moving average against the price of Bitcoin might be the kind of like most bullish bearish target we can have. I can still be long-term bullish as long as price action is above that 200 daily moving average, but we could very well be bearish enough to consolidate all the way down toward it to further confirm it as potential support. Although if price action does start to close below that 200 daily moving average, we can get a tad bearish in perhaps the sort of like longer term. Although right now we're still looking bullish. Fundamentally, the demand for Cardano is very high at these levels, and there is plenty of tops being bought, and the bottoms are being bought up very quick. Although with very high sell pressure present in the overall crypto market, I do believe some continued consolidation or perhaps downside might present itself first before the uptrend can continue. But when we consider Bitcoin against USDT, we can see a new perspective come into play. We have price action bouncing off of that 32,000 support line that I suggested we would likely make our way down to if we fail to hold the 0.5 Fibonacci line, which we now appear to be interacting with again from below. So we will need to solidify that 0.5 Fibonacci line at 34,300. We are going to have to see if that is confirmed as resistance. If that is confirmed as resistance, we'll most likely see 32K again. And if we fail to hold 32K, my most bearish target is the 0.382 Fibonacci line at 27,000. And so I do believe in these lows now is a great time to be accumulating Bitcoin. I do believe the fundamental demand for Bitcoin is very high at this time, keeping us, keeping us sideways against the very high technical sell pressure present at below that's 200 daily moving average. This is a very kind of bearish technical indicator. We have the 0.618 Fibonacci line at 41,500, very significant resistance. I suggested from back when we were first kind of interacting with 32K there. Well, not the first time, but the kind of time prior to this most recent time on the 8th of June, we interacted with that 32K level, and I suspected if we were to bounce from there, we could make our way all the way back up to 41K, the 0.618 line, and get slapped all the way back down to where we came from. We ended up exhausting at kind of like 41,100, kind of before that 0.618 line, and then we still got slapped all the way back down to below where we came from. And so this wick reaching down to my bearish target is a tad short-term bearish in my opinion. I do believe some more support needs to be found. This bounce, however, could very much recover, and we could, find interaction up to that 0.618 line again. Although, like I suggested, very, very potent resistance, and this could slap us all the way back down to where we came from. I do believe we can be more short-term bullish if support is found above that 0.5 Fibonacci line. 34,300 is going to be a much more short-term bullish target if we can hold. Like I said, I do suspect interaction with 32K and perhaps even 27K before we can make our way up. Thank you for hearing my analysis. Thank you for tuning in. Try EngineeringRobo free with a link in the description. Subscribe here on YouTube. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you bullish? Are you bearish? What are you doing with your bag? If you have one, do you trade Cardano? Do you trade Bitcoin? Are you accumulating in these lows? Do you sell your whole bag? Are we still bearish? Is there more downside? Are we heading to the 20Ks, 10Ks, teens, like the lower levels that we came from not very long ago? Or do we have some more parabolic upside ahead, and we're going to recover very quickly? Let me know your thoughts on the direction of price action down in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in, and tune in for the next one.